welcome back to the Go Ham podcast. Today we have a special episode. It's our Unleashed episode where we will get into some social media and pick it apart.
Pick it apart.
All right, let's redo it. I don't like it.
I
liked it too. Yeah, it was good.
All right, go ahead, then go with it.
Heather 8. 4 plus 4 equals
8 down.
Welcome to the table, Jade.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, we're stoked.
Yeah.
So for our audience, Jade is one of our team members. She's young and vibrant and brings an energy, and we just figured it would be fun to have another perspective on our episode of Go Ham Unleashed. Let's get to it.
How many years you been behind the chair now?
2.
2. All right.
2
so
years.
she's a freshie.
Yeah.
Freshie. We're
Industry
millennials,
freshie.
so we needed to bring in like another generation to get a new, fresh perspective.
Well, my little sisters say I'm a millennial too, so.
No.
I know I'm not.
No,
So wait,
no.
are you a millennial or no?
No.
No.
Okay.
She's a Gen Z.
Heather's definitely not a millennial because she's going to Louis DeVito and AC.
I'm trying to, guys.
They're going to be giving out like Pravastatin, like blood thinners when you walk through.
God. All right.
Keep knocking it. Keep knocking it.
First post we have is from Hairbrained Official. What do you do to keep your clients coming back to you? This goes beyond providing stellar services. 100. What things do you do to deliver superlative customer service so your clients not only come back but tell their friends?
I'll go first. I just feel like mine was so on point and genuine, so I'm going to go with this one. Hair by Bernie. Oh, actually, it's hair _by Bernice _Van Galen. She says, be myself, educate them on their hair goals and the process and the styling products they need. Allow them to have a safe space and feel relaxed while at the same time coming out of the salon looking fabulous.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's so to the point. That's what everybody wants when they go to a hair salon.
Yeah.
They want to have fabulous hair. They want to know what you're using. They want to feel like they can talk to you about anything. So for me, that's keeping it real.
Yeah.
I like it.
It's kind of boring.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like it's I think so on brand for everyone.
Yeah.
Like that's what most people are doing. I like the shit
Kinda
that's
boring.
like the grip. Well, what happened to the one that you were gonna do?
Oh, I have that one too, but this one was like my good one. And then I have the other one that I kind of thought was a little comical.
The other one's good.
Okay, so the _prism _addict. ATTIC, not addict. Just want to make that clear. The way she keeps her clients there and coming back is I let people vape, drink, watch TV, cry. We hug. I don't push buying things. I have a huge cat. People love to pet. Freezies in the summer, etc.
I mean,
Dude,
I
a
like
cat in the
that.
salon?
That's a different.
It
so
sounds
that's-
like-
See, that's more.
It sounds like a party.
That's
yeah.
like love or hate. Like
Yeah.
either
Yeah.
you love going there and
Oh my
like
God,
you're
yeah.
all about this experience, or you're like, I'm never going back there. That was
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
some people just want to go get their hair done and let it all hang out.
Some
you
people
know?
hate cats.
Some people are allergic.
I'd be like, wait, does your cat shed?
Yeah.
If so, I don't want a mommy.
All right. You want to go next, Jade?
Yeah. To piggyback off like the keeping it real part, _Brie _ Christine _ said, I'm honest, transparent, humble, and reliable. Communication is my top priority, and I'm a complete goofball once the consultation is completed and the service is underway. I feel like that's super relatable because it's important to build a foundation where your clients can be open and honest with you. Because let's be real, like sometimes not everyone's hair is going to be perfect every single time. And I want my clients to feel like they can tell me if something needs to be tweaked and we'll fix it that day or that week.
My goodness. For a freshie, you really know. But
Thanks,
no,
man.
that's the truth. I think that's a major thing, and I love that person brought that up because it matters, like for sure.
Yeah.
That you have clients that are comfortable enough to tell you when they're not happy, because
Exactly.
everybody's going to tell you when they're happy, but to be comfortable enough to be like, hey, we missed the mark here. Can I get back in?
Yes.
That's big.
And
I'm learning
vice-
a lot from you today.
Jade?
Yeah, I mean, I learned how to get my followers on Instagram.
Jade's the truth.
Yeah, I like it, Jade.
Thanks, guys. And also, wait, to piggyback off what you said, vice versa too, like being open and honest with your clients. Like, maybe that glaze just a little too dark.
100%,
Let's fix
yeah.
that. Like, you know?
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. I'm worried that me and you have the same one, but I'm
What
going to
do
go
you
for it.
have?
I hope it's not
You
yours.
probably guys. You do. You definitely do.
At Paris, Texas hairdressing. That's
Nope.
what it is. Avoid the 5 sins of speaking: negativity, complaining, judging, exaggerating, gossiping, and always remember you are only ever as good as your last haircut.
Amen.
So wait, I got a question. Avoid the 5 sins of speaking. Is this like in life? Because I'm about this.
Yeah, I like that. I might get that tattooed on my forehead.
Dead serious. Like, I mean, like, I love this.
No cat.
Negativity, complaining, judging, exaggerating, and gossiping. Like, I'm for that. So,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
those
I
are
love
my
that.
people.
yeah,
that
you
are
could
living in
definitely apply
world.
that to any aspect of life,
Yeah.
not just in behind your chair.
hairdressing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm down for that. Paris, Texas hairdressing. You're my people.
I mean, if you think about all the problems that we have as salon owners, it's that in a nutshell.
Yeah.
You know?
Fast forward to like 3 hours from now when I'm complaining, exaggerating, gossiping.
Talking shit.
All right, mine's from Greek Boy Magic. I love him. Anybody can do hair color. Anybody can do haircuts. Anybody can do blow dries. The question is, not everybody has personality. And I think that speaks probably to all of us, just because like when we look for service providers, like we're looking for like our people, and I'm just more guaranteed to go back to somebody if there's somebody that I can like vibe with. Like
Yeah.
I think of like Bayrac and like the person that does like my Botox and stuff. Like I could talk to her for hours, and I love that. And like I feel like all of us tell each other when we have like people like, oh, you got to go to her. Like she's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just that like anybody can do any type of service, but can you be the person that's like relatable and the vibe, and you know?
Yeah.
That's so true, because I feel like there's been times in the past where we've had team members run into issues because, you know, they're doing everything. They're doing everything they possibly can, but I feel like it takes a couple of years to really get confident. You said it to me right before we started filming that when you first started, you were like a little bit nervous and you felt like you had
yeah.
this like almost like, I don't want to call it fake, but like you were
No, it was.
Imposter syndrome.
I had this
like-
voice. Like, I was like, why am I talking like this? This is not who I am.
Yeah.
I remember when I first started personaling for Katie, I would like bounce around the salon. I'm like, this isn't who I am.
Yeah.
And I started being real with them, and we ended up building such a strong like connection.
Yeah.
Till this day, I do some of her clients' cuts, you know?
Yep. And you're probably attracting, like, because you're being real, you're attracting exactly that.
Right.
And, like, that's what you want, essentially. You want people that are like you, that have similar interests, that you can
100%.
vibe with, like you were saying. Yeah.
But to bounce off
matters.
of what you said, I think a lot of times in the beginning, the newbies struggle with retention because they're so focused on like the technical and like getting everything right, which is great, but they lose sight of like that human fact.
The human aspect,
yeah.
for sure.
Just to be real, when I first started on the chair, I botched so many haircuts, but they came back. But they came back.
Exactly.
I'm like, oh, so we're going to grab a drink after the show?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Yep. It's the truth.
know?
I love it. All right. So, next post is at Hairbrained Official. Thank you for Hairbrained Official always providing us with phenomenal content to get through.
Showing up.
But okay, so the post was what is one piece of advice you'd give to someone who just entered the hair industry? What do we got? Who's going first?
I'll go.
Go ahead.
So I have two. The first one is Pam Lean, the DMV. She or he, I don't know, but they post it. Get up under a mentor, someone who you want to be like, follow them, learn from them. And then this is where it goes a little off for me. Pray with them and practice. Obedience, and be consistent and confident.
I'm down with praying.
Yeah, I know, but like the whole like pray with them, like it was just a lot of pray for me. Like I like the message. I'm not knocking that. I do like the message. I think you should definitely have prayer in your life at some point, but I think having a mentor is huge for anybody starting out. I think that's like key. Find somebody that you can relate to, that you're comfortable with, ask questions, and use their guidance.
Yeah. I think that's huge, especially in like the world that we live in now. And I think sometimes client expectations are like so high. It's so nice that you could go, like, if you have somebody that you can go to like bounce ideas off of in like certain situations where, like, I don't know, like things could get a little tense between clients. So I know like some of the older girls are like mentors to the younger girls at the salon. And anytime they're like in a situation, they're like, oh, well, I asked, this stylist, and this is what she said. I'm like, oh, great. Awesome. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mentors are so important. And I hope that we do an episode with them soon because it works so well for our company. And I think it's like one of the best things that we can provide our stylists.
For sure.
Yeah. It's just like an
So,
extension of like, additional layer of support.
They have
Yep.
calmed me down in many, many scenarios.
All right, go ahead, Jade.
Great.
I have one by the Morgan Brack Hair. She said, set your boundaries now, know your worth. That's
Know
real.
your worth.
I feel like, 100%. Especially as a younger stylist, sometimes certain clients can maybe think that they're in control. So I think it's important. I mean, in a way they are, but I think it's important to set the boundaries that, like, we are in the driver's seat. Like, we're providing you a service,
Yeah. And would you say that's obviously something that comes with confidence?
Oh,
You know,
100%.
It's like if you feel the confidence enough to present that to them or to
Right.
be in the driver's seat, as you said, I think it changes things.
Yeah, and I think, like we said earlier, it attracts certain kind of clients.
Yep,
Like, people respect you a little bit more.
for sure.
know?
I love it. All right, go ahead, Leash.
Mine is from All Hair and Design. People are crazy, people are kind, people are rude, people are sweet, but the person in your chair is there for many different reasons. Do your best to give them the best hair in that moment. Good luck. I just love that because I think a lot of times, like, every now and then we'll get dealt with like somebody who's not your ideal client. And I think what you just have to remember is it's like 1% of your career that you have to deal with something like that, and B, like, you don't know what that person's going through. They may have been looking forward to this appointment for, I don't know, 3 months, or saved up all their money to come in and get their hair done, or have no friends and like just want to, be themselves and sit around and chit chat and be annoying. You know what I mean? So I just think just keeping that in the back of your mind, and not, when you do go through those situations, like, not letting it affect your entire day or week or whatever.
There's so much truth into that, what you just said.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
So, and I think every stylist can relate to that because they have their ideal clients, and then they have like one or two that are just nasty all the time.
Yeah.
And then they have some that you just don't know what's going on, like you said. Man, what do you got?
All right, so I have Bridal Hair Couture by Katie. She has 101 likes on this, and it's basically having a fabulous TikTok and Insta account doesn't make you a fabulous hairstylist. Anyone can appear talented with enough editing. Keeping people in your chair is what makes you talented and successful. Your true skill set isn't what will make you successful. Most importantly, how you treat your clients is what determines your success. Make them love you. They'll always come back. For me, I feel like that one's deep because I just think as a young stylist just out of hair school, one of the benefits is that you understand how important social media is for you. Like, these young ones get it. They understand that. Whereas older stylists, they fight it, they're resistant to it, but the young ones understand it. But ultimately, at times, I feel that people prioritize their appearance on social media over what they're doing behind the chair. And to what she just said, like, ultimately, like, Instagram, social media can be a facade. It can be just what it appears to be, but what actually is what's going on behind the chair.
Yeah.
Like what you're doing to the clients and how they're feeling and the experience that you're providing. And I feel like that message drives home.
Yeah. And
It does.
also, like, your worth isn't based on like your social media. Like, how many people do we have who don't like prioritize social, like, they do it, but it's not like a priority to them.
Yeah.
And like, how successful are they?
Yep.
So I think just like remembering that too, like, it doesn't have to be everything.
Social media definitely is important though, because it especially for, like you said, the younger people, that's in today's, like, I don't want to say market, but today I feel like people, you're getting butts in your chair from social media.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, there's no denial on that.
Yeah, but you don't have to have like 5,000 followers to do it.
No,
Right,
no,
you
no.
know.
And you don't have to go on and not be like totally being genuine and posting stuff that's really not real and fake. I can't stand that.
Yeah.
But Jade, you're young and fresh. So what is your perspective on that?
I think that social media is really important. I don't think it's important to have the amount of followers or amount of likes, but more so just being present and showing up on social media. Like
Yeah.
you can tell even the young girls in our salon, the ones who are, present, they are busier and they fill up. A lot of my clients tell me, I found you on my For You page, or I just looked up like mainline hair on Instagram, and that's how they find us is through social media.
Exactly.
So I think it's like really important, but I don't think the likes or the amount of followers that you have are as important, but just again,
Yeah.
like showing up and doing it,
Yeah.
Dude,
Staying
what you
relevant.
just said, just mic drop.
8.
The people.
Just 8.
4 plus 4?
4+4.
Maybe not there, man.
Left-
But we'll,
left
we'll
no
get
crumbs?
you there. No, but the people that do social media are busy.
100%. I feel like yesterday I had this conversation at Malvern with somebody who we were talking about. It was an interview actually that I had, and we were talking about the importance of social media and how she was saying that when she gets a new guest, she knows that like they call the salon and they ask and then they hang up and then they go on Instagram, they look them up before they're actually physically booking the appointment. So it does matter, you
Yeah.
know,
It does.
Definitely.
for sure.
So I found an interesting comment on that post. I don't really know what to make of it.
Okay.
I don't really know if I like it or not, but I'm going to tell you what it says. Ging Bratton, 2 weeks ago, he actually posted, he or she, worked 6 days a week for at least a year. At 3 years, cut back to 3 days a week. And around 10 years, 2 days a week until retirement.
That comment will get you canceled in this day and
I just
age.
don't.
Like,
I don't understand it. Like,
I
want to know the rhyme and like I would love to sit down with whoever this person is and ask like the rhyme and reason behind that. Like, what?
I can tell you it.
Okay, tell me
I can
because
tell
I want to
you
know.
what they mean by this.
What is it?
Is that hustle your ass off in the beginning. Work, nights, weekends, all of that stuff in the beginning. For the very beginning, you got to hustle. Then as you build your clientele, scale back a little bit, change your schedule up some for the reward of when you're at 10 years to be able to work 2 days a week and make $200K a year or whatever
Yeah.
it is. That's what's meant by it. Do I agree that you should be working 6 days a week? No, because what I know is that if you are working 6 days a week as a new stylist out of the gate, you're going to be dead.
You're gonna be
Yeah.
sitting
True.
around
You're not going to have anybody.
door dashing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are
So
very
I
like,
understand the
specific numbers.
goal in what he was trying to say, but essentially,
The timeline threw me off a little bit.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, the next post we have is from Masters of Balayage, and it says, "How much do you expect your client to tip?" Little controversial. Philip Scallis Beauty says 20%. I will squeeze you in no matter how busy I am. No tip. I'm not turning myself inside out for you. Which I kind of like disagree with. I mean, I don't know. I never really agreed. Like when we've had apprentices or stylists come to us and say like, oh, I don't get a lot of tips, or my clients aren't tipping me anymore. I'm kind of like in my head, like, so what? In this day and age, like they're coming to see you and they're spending $200-$300. So 20% on that service is a lot. So I just never really paid attention to like who tipped me and who didn't tip me. But I feel like that's kind of a little cutthroat, I guess.
It is a little cutthroat, but it's true too. Like what I mean is, I can think back on clients that I know
Will
were
tip- okay.
really like taking care of me.
Yeah.
And because of that, I'm willing to do whatever it is. Like if you're somebody who you had to cancel on me, like I don't give a shit. I'll get you in tomorrow.
Yeah.
You and not that I want to say I prioritized them, but it's almost like they prioritize themselves. They made
Yeah.
it so good that they're like, she is going to take care of me because I take care of her.
Right.
Like that's kind of how I felt about it.
But
Yeah.
then to piggyback off of that, if I do have a client where it's a haircut or maybe they don't leave a big tip or no tip at all, I'm not going to treat them differently.
No, you're
Right.
right.
You know
Yep.
what I mean?
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
All right. So this one is interesting. Amber.born said, nada. I'm upfront about being gratuity free, and if they insist, I tell them to leave a review, or referring people is how I prefer to be supported.
I love that.
So it's interesting because there has been a lot of shifts in the industry in the past few years regarding tips and gratuity. And a lot of people are going in this route where they're gratuity free, and basically it's built into the pricing structure how they do it.
I have never seen that.
You haven't?
No.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that's a thing.
Where?
A lot of people are doing it. Tip free, gratuity
service,
free.
Really?
Yes.
I
They
actually
built-
just read a lot of the comments were saying that I don't accept tips. I tell them that they're welcome to tip my associate or assistant.
I mean, that's kind of nice, but I could also see in like people being like, oh, well, I don't want to tip 20%. So
Yeah, this
you know
was
what
like
I
a
mean?
little bit of a trendy thing happening a couple
Yeah.
years ago. But basically, yeah, so she's saying that, she's upfront about being gratuity free. And I love this because there was a point in my career where I felt like I was doing that. I basically was asking people, instead of, hey, please don't tip me today, I would just prefer you either leave me a review or send me somebody that's really going to support my business right now. I did that like way back, like years ago.
Yeah, I remember.
And what I got was people still tipped me, but they were also understanding how much it supported me to just send someone to me.
Right.
Yeah.
Which was great.
I think it helps ease the pain too when you have a stylist that's charging high prices. You're like, you get hit with this bill and then you're tipping 15, 20, 25% on top of that. So I think not accepting it, it's like, it just makes it a little bit like, I don't mind spending the money. Like I'll do more to my hair, like, cause now I don't have to tip. But I mean, not for me, but I just feel like for other people that I could see
And even
the
like,
plus in that.
yeah, extensions, like
That's
that's
what I
like a
was gonna say.
$600-$700 service. So like 20% of that, that's a big chunk of change.
It's
and
a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I would never expect that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like $20, sure, $40,
Right.
Yeah.
but not 20% on like an almost 1,000. Like after
Yeah.
you purchase the hair, pay for the service, get your color done.
Yeah.
You know.
Well,
Speaking of this,
Go ahead.
this is my wheels turning. Do you tip your Botox injector?
I try to, but
I've
she
been
won't
seeing
accept
so
any.
much about that.
I don't know what to do there. That's
I
like,
always tip them. I mean, I tip the people that pump my gas. I tip anybody. But my Botox girl is amazing. She's a doctor, and she will not accept any tips.
Yeah.
Wow, she's luxury.
She is top notch.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
love that.
But in previous places, like, yeah, they like will ask you, do you want to leave a tip for Botox services? Shit, I even go to the airport and there's like, do you want to leave a tip for what? Grabbing my 2 water bottles
Oh, yeah.
off of
Well,
the
now
shelf
I was at the
behind
Phillies
you?
game last
Like,
night. I was at the Phillies game, and everything you buy, it says, "Would you like to leave a tip?"
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
everywhere. It's
Yeah,
everywhere.
I'm waiting to like walk out of the bathroom and there be a sign, "Would you like to leave a tip for using the toilet?"
That's
Yeah.
so funny.
Whatever happened
Seriously.
to good old fashioned service, man? Can't even get
And it's really
popcorn
like
without-
in your face, like,
Yeah.
and they're standing there watching, you know.
Oh, wait, this is
and
funny.
it's like,
Now that you say this, the other day when I was at the airport, I went to check out, and the lady was like, if you can just answer the question. And I was like, what question? And I looked out, I'm like, oh, that question.
I'm sorry, but something like
Did
that,
you
I'm
tip
not
her?
tipping.
Yeah, okay.
yeah, but like I get strong armed into it too, because then I'm
don't
like,
know.
I just ordered food, and then they're like, do you want to leave a tip? It's right there. And then you look down and they give you the options like 10, 15, 20% other. And I'm like,
where's 0?
but no, like I'm looking at it like I better tip 20% because now they're going to prepare my food. Are they going to like spit in it or do something gross, drop it on the floor, then pick it up and hand it to me because I didn't tip enough?
That's so funny.
I hate that they see it before, you know.
Strong armed by
Yes,
the service
that's exactly it. I'm
industry.
being strong armed. Yes.
Yeah. See, something like that, I wouldn't. I don't know. I feel like you shouldn't have to. But then if I'm ordering Starbucks, like, yeah, I'll throw a buck or 2 in the bucket.
Yeah.
You know, like.
Because they're physically doing something.
Right.
Like, they're actually doing something for you. If you're taking a water bottle and putting it on this and scanning it and then asking me for a tip, that seems
No.
like
It also
little
depends on the person. I will say, when we went to Nashville to that concert, like I specifically remember the girls behind the counter were like just like talking to me and like chit chatting while I was waiting for my food. And like when I paid, I was like, I want to tip these girls.
Yeah.
They're like, you know, making my experience a little better.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, on the flip side, yesterday I was at Swiss Farms and I'm sitting. I was the only person in the drive-thru sitting there waiting, and I'm watching this boy. He was probably like 23, 24, around that age. He's sitting there. He knows I'm there. He looked dead at me and then just played on his phone And this went on for like, I swear to God, it was a minute, but it felt like 5 minutes. And I'm like, okay, are you going to get up and come see what I need yet?
Heather's blood pressure.
Yeah, I'm like,
Rising.
I have a million things to do on my list right now, like, so I'm sitting there waiting for this kid to finally finish his text or upload his TikTok or whatever he was doing. He comes over, he asks my order. I tell him, he goes back in, gets back on his phone.
Nah.
I swear to God, I'm not lying. Gets back on his phone and then comes back and goes, I'm sorry, what did you say you needed? It took everything out of me not to just like drive through. I was so mad. And like, I tip everybody. Like, I'm not the kind of person where like, I'm like, oh, she did a shitty job or she gave me an attitude. I'm going to knock so much off her tip. I typically tip 20 to 25% on everything. This kid had my blood boiling. I literally I couldn't do it. I'm
Heather's I literally only gave him $10.
I honestly wanted to like give him a real tip and I hate that when I'm like, here's a tip for you, buddy. Like, that's not me, but like, I want it to be like, listen,
My tip
you're
is do
probably
better.
making minimum wage. You have an opportunity to make so much more right now in tips. Like, if you would have came right over and like just did a good job and were friendly and nice, I would have left you $10.
Can you go back
Like-
today and pull up and be like, hey, can we talk?
I slept on it. I think I really could do you a good service here.
Yep.
But going back to what you were saying, I just feel like this kind of like goes hand in hand. So I'm going to go next. This person, Kelly, in retrospect says, I don't expect tips. I just price my services accordingly.
Yeah.
And I like that too. I feel like, it's true. It's honest. Like, you know what you're going to pay up front. And I do like that.
Yeah.
She's not expecting it.
Yep.
But
We're
while I'm
relying on it.
yeah, she doesn't rely on her tips, and I think that that's a good thing. I think it's kind of irresponsible. I get some people really do rely on their tips, but if you're pricing accordingly, then that shouldn't be an issue for you. I saw another funny one that Joshua did my hair says, it depends on how nice I dress that day. I thought that was funny.
I love it.
Like, wow, you look great. You put a lot of effort in. You're getting 30% today.
Depends on how well I slept the night before.
Yep.
To kind of piggyback off the first thing you said, as a beginner stylist, it can go hand in hand because I do think that we are not reliant on our tips, but our tips are a big part of our income when you first start out.
So it was something that I was hoping to bring up once we were through this, if it wasn't brought up. And I feel like there's an unspoken issue around tipping in our industry, and it's the apprentices, the associates.
That's who I was going to get to. The apprentices, I feel like, are the ones that really rely on the tips as they should.
I agree.
and they need to be taken care of.
Yes.
And I feel like that's on the stylist as well. It's not only on whatever client they're shampooing that day, but the stylists need to make sure they're taken care of. And I feel like that's something big in the industry. These are kids that are just out of school that, may essentially be paying for their housing, their food, and struggling. And to us, anybody who is more established and has, a nice income and a client base, I feel like it is kind of the unwritten rule of like, you got to take care of the young ones because they need it. And they're there and essentially the business that you're operating, if you're in a company like ours, they play such a crucial role in how we operate that if they're not taken care of, I have an issue with it because essentially they're the reason why you're getting to where you are.
Dude, without them, the salon would be on fire.
I know.
I feel bad for them though, because I feel like, I've had both sides of it. I've heard, I make really good tips. And then I hear some that are like, and I know that they're hard workers and they're friendly and they're kind and nice and they do everything you could ever need. But then they're like not getting tips. And I feel like it's, not against them. I just think that people generally, when they go to a hair salon, they pay so much for their hair.
Yep.
And then that 20% tip goes to the stylist. And now it's like a burden. Now it's like, oh my God, now I got to tip the girl that shampooed my hair. And, and that's sad. Like I feel like they should be getting the 20% tip.
Yeah. But I think that if there is a strong system in place within the salon around tipping, it makes more sense. And with today's financial climate, people are strapped, and that extra $5 may be going toward their child's lunch tomorrow. Yeah. So it's kind of like you have to pick and choose, but I think it's on the stylist that have the apprentices working with them that are essentially driving the income or the business to allow them to take more clients or see more people or add on services You really got to make sure you're taking care of your people.
I think it's so important for the stylist to make sure that their associate at the end of the day was, felt appreciated, was tipped out.
Yep.
And not only tipped by the clients, but tipped by you. They're essentially working for you. Why wouldn't you tip them?
For sure.
By Heather HB14, she said, I don't expect any certain amount. I only get annoyed when I squeeze someone in and they know it and they don't tip at all. So, of course, we don't expect it, but it's always appreciated. Yeah. But it can be frustrating if, someone knows you're squeezing them in, they're showing up super late, and then they don't really tip. We put our blood, sweat, tears, hard work into our services. So sometimes it can be a little bit defeating if, your clients don't appreciate you in that
100%.
way.
Yeah. Yep.
But it's
well,
not
that's
expected.
like, so I feel like, did you ever go to a restaurant and the food was like completely atrocious, but the service was great? And you can't help but be like, I just spent $150 on this dinner and it was so bad, but you're not going to take it out on the person,
Exactly.
So it's like that, that's like, I feel like kind of how I think about it when it comes to that type of thing.
Yeah.
I think Jade is actually a really interesting, cool person. Because how old are you, Jade?
Thank you. I actually will be 23 on Monday.
God, you are such an old soul.
Yeah, she
like
is.
you're
Thank
23
you.
and just
Yeah.
hearing like your thought, like when you speak, I can hear your thoughts almost. It's like everything that comes out of your mouth is so planned in your head before you speak. Like you're just a very put together speaker for being such a young
Thank you. I appreciate
person.
The
such a
wisdom
good-
behind
Yes,
this one.
that's what I
How-
mean. Like it's just like what she says, like is so wise, like you just said.
that.
So
Guys, you're gonna give me a big
yeah, I'm
head.
actually impressed by you.
Thank
How
you.
often do we have like a heart to heart in the office? It'll be
Dude, like every time I step in the office, it's never a 5-minute convo. I'm always in there for at least like 15.
yeah, she's just so easy to talk
And you're only
to.
23.
Yeah. Do we want to talk to the world about your pivotal moment in your career when you almost got fired and
Oh my gosh,
what
yeah.
changed?
I was
Wait,
a-
who almost fired you?
I was a walking
I remember this.
shit show.
That
No, I
horrible
remember
boss?
it got bad.
Was it Alicia?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was.
but it was my fault.
I would have hired you at Newtown. Don't worry.
No, yeah, I was a
Wayne's loss
walking-
is Newtown's gain.
All right.
I think after she talks about how terrible you were to her, I think you guys should
Stop.
hug it
No,
out.
actually,
Huh?
I think you guys should hug it out.
Okay, no.
I can say quite
Listen,
the opposite of that.
dickhead. She didn't show up for work, all right? And when she did, she
Didn't she
showed up in
use
like
ever?
a Tupac Shakur t-shirt.
Wait, what did she show up in?
And like a,
Listen, I was quite literally a walking shit show, and I just was calling out, showing up, was going through a lot.
How
in
old
my
were you?
personal life, I think I had just turned 20.
Okay.
yeah, I want to say you were like 19
I
when
had just
you
turned
first
20, and I was
started.
going through some real shit.
Yeah.
Not that it's an excuse, but it was the reason behind I was doing the things I was doing.
Okay.
But yeah, I showed up the one day and I was in skinny jeans, a Tupac shirt, and ruined white Air Forces. And Leisha's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like,
You weren't
"I know."
getting no tips that day.
I was like, "I know, Leash." She's like, "Dude," I'm like, "I'm sorry."
Sounds like a great fit to me.
Yeah.
Now that's my like daily fit outside the salon. But no, I will say like having the support of Alicia though is really what kind of like kicked my ass into gear. I was having like car issues and she literally Ubered me to work.
I did?
Yeah.
Oh.
you definitely
forgot
would do
about that.
something
You
like
Ubered
that.
me to work and
I'm like, hey, we need you.
Ubered me home.
The Uber's on its way.
I'm
Yeah, right.
trying
You
to
probably
remember.
were calling out bullshit. You're like, oh, your car don't work? Sure, I'll Uber you.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
so-
want to know like what clicked though for you, because I feel like there was a time where it was very evident that you were working like on yourself. Like, was it
I know when
like
it was.
reading a book, or was it just like rock bottom?
Yeah,
or-
it was rock bottom. It was rock bottom.
Did you think you were going to lose your job?
Yes. I'm surprised that I didn't lose my job.
Okay.
I knew what I was doing. Because the thing about me is I can take accountability. Like I knew, like I said, I'm surprised I still work here. And I'm grateful that I had that kind of support. Not only from you, Leash, but also from my mentor at the time. Just everyone.
Who was your mentor?
Katie. Katie's like a second mom to me. I'll
the
always
best.
stand on that.
love
I was
that.
actually just about to say, like, I feel like Alicia, even Katie, like, they are very motherly, too.
Oh,
So
yeah. 100%.
maybe you were looking for that.
That's
You
exactly-
needed
that's
someone
what
to,
I
like,
needed.
crack the whip and be like, we're not going to put up with this.
Yeah.
motherly.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
you're
call her motherly.
Yeah, like
Her? Why?
No.
She kills it in the mom game.
I think she's a strong mentor. I wouldn't call her like
She
motherly.
is, but
I'm
like
not
I
like nurturing.
even
No.
today when I was having a breakdown, you came over and gave me a hug, and
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it made me
Because
feel a
I was
thousand
trying
times
to
better.
match your
My
I was
negative
trying to
energy, you
no,
were
I
trying to
was
pull my
to match
positive out.
your way of accepting love.
Oh, all right.
I'm a chameleon in that way.
Are you a hugger, Leash?
I'm not, but I will be for Heather.
I won't be.
I'll take your hugs any day.
Count me out. All right, cool. I love that. And I feel like that seems like such a distant time from now for me. Like I remember that going on because I've seen so much success in you over these past few years. I like forgot about it.
Yeah.
Well, good.
Which is kinda cool,
Let's
right?
Keep it in the back
Yeah.
of your mind.
She's one of the reasons why like it's super hard to like give up on people.
Oh.
You know? Like
Yeah.
when we
100%.
have somebody who's going through something and isn't being themselves, like you gotta sometimes just give them the benefit of the doubt, I think. And you know, we've seen time and time again people just like go through shitty stuff.
Yeah.
But eventually get it together and pull through. So
Yeah.
I'm
it makes
famous
it really,
for that. I feel
yeah.
like that's one of my superpowers.
Yeah.
I feel like I can like I'm not a good people reader. Like I'm not good with like doing interviews and stuff like that. But once they're in the company and like I see potential, and then I see like someone slacking off, like I don't want to give up. Like
You are the
remember,
hardest.
remember that one day when we had to let someone go and I bust out crying in the office and
Yeah.
I'm just like, how did we let her go? Like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like I wanted to keep her. Like I wasn't ready for that yet. Like I get so emotionally attached to our team members, and
And a lot of the times the team doesn't see that.
Yeah,
They
they
only
don't.
see the negative, and they don't see the conversations that happen behind
Yeah.
closed doors.
That's
and
a-
like,
that's a
you know,
And
that-
we all
that's
knew you were
intentional.
going through something, so
Yeah.
it was
And
hard
that's
to.
another thing. Like you guys, it took me a little bit to grasp the concept, but you guys made it easy for me to be transparent. At first, I feel like I was like beating around the bush, not really like being open and honest. And then finally, when I remember one day I was in your office crying to Leash and I laid it all down. I told her just the truth about what I was going through. And you're like, dude, take a mental week. And I did. And after that is when I think things started shifting for me. I was like, dude, I need to get my shit together. Like bad.
right. No
And
one's
that-
not
see,
gonna.
but
No
this
one is
was
gonna
like-
do it for you. You got to do
No,
it for yourself.
Exactly.
And this is something that I wish there was more of in the industry, because there's a very tough, and I imagine that if you're one boss or one owner and you don't have a network of people to kind of lean into in these moments, because we do it all the time. You know, when there's something going on, we're all like, how often do we get on three-way calls? Like, guys, we got to talk through this. And we kind of banter and go back and forth about how we want to handle this specific scenario. And it's so beneficial because one of us may be really emotional about it and one of us may be really level-headed, and finding somebody
Yeah.
to kind of talk you off the ledge and just listen, let's give it some time, let's see what's actually going on before we make that decision. Like, that's happened so many times, and it's served us so well over the years.
Well, because
Yeah.
you guys are real and raw and like relatable. Like
Yeah.
you don't feel like it's robotic when
Yeah.
you talk, like when I talk to you guys, you know?
Well, thank you. Love hearing that. Well, we're so happy to have you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Having
dead
me,
serious. Like,
guys.
we love you so much.
Thank you so
This
much.
was so fun.
Thank you. I love you guys.
And thank you for being a part of the Go Ham podcast. And on that note, we're signing off.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Like and subscribe. Share with your friends.
And we'll catch you on the next episode.